All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and environmental issues and hypocrisy, and doing it in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Now, I'm going to be talking about Brian May and Queen, but mostly just Brian May. But Brian says stuff, and I don't even know if this is that great of a topic, but folks, just bear with me here, okay? Um, Also, don't forget to hit the little notification bell, and there's a drop down and it says all. Make sure you hit all so you're getting notifications on these amazing videos and just rants that I do. So I'm going to be talking about Queen, Brian May. Here is a band called Cats in Space. If you like Queen, you'll probably like Cats in Space. This is their album, Kickstart the Sun. I thought this was very appropriate since we're talking about climate change. And some people, there are a few people that believe that the sun is more responsible for, the ups and downs of the climate. Temperatures going up, temperatures going down. Some people blame the sun. Other people blame cows. Obviously, gas-powered vehicles get blamed. I always think to myself, do we really think that we can do this much damage to the planet and have it not recover from whatever we're doing to it? And do we think that maybe there has been climate change in the past where, again, there were no gas-powered vehicles? There were cows, however. And there were probably a lot more cows. Who knows? I don't know. I know we're doing like mass breeding of certain animals so we can all eat red meat, which we're not supposed to eat. There are a lot of issues here, and people are going to debate this for quite some time. My view on climate change is if you take it too far, it becomes a religion, and it replaces common sense in many ways. And the fact that people are always trying to fill their life up with something other than God, to me, really speaks to their need for God, or at least their need for a balance. Okay, God would say, be a good steward of the environment. What does that mean? Does it mean that you don't fly your private jet? So anyway, let me talk about Brian May here. He says to his fans, call me a hypocrite and I'll block you. Now, I understand part of this, and I'll get to the part that I completely understand. So Brian May is in the middle of the Rhapsody tour with Queen plus Adam Lambert. It's always Queen plus somebody else. Remember? Queen plus Paul Rogers. Now you got Queen plus Adam Lambert. The tour is about to wrap up, and recently he posted a video on Instagram showing airport staff in Japan saying goodbye as he moved from his private jet to a car, ready for the next tour stop. The post came after a follower called him out for using private planes while speaking up for environmental issues and climate change. In response, May explained to his 3.3 million followers, man, that's a lot of followers, why private travel is part of their tour logistics. Now, Brian May is a pretty good guitar player. I will say this. He is a pretty good original sounding guitar player with a very unique style and tone. So I give Brian May a lot of credit for that. Anyway, he says here, arriving for our last internal flight of the tour, everyone is so polite and welcoming and helpful here. Someone in my comments was trying to give me grief about using private planes. Now, let me stop there. It's really weird when these big celebrity types who have these accounts, these social media accounts, engage with people in this way. It's really weird to me. I mean, aren't you getting hundreds of comments a day? I mean, he must scan all the comments. Aha, I don't like this one. Now, I understand the blocking. He says, generally, I immediately block anyone who calls me a hypocrite. But is Brian May a hypocrite? He goes on to say, who needs to put up with insults in their own comments page? Now, he's flying a private plane. Now, if he really believed in his religion, and I do call this a religion, and here's the difference. I do believe that we have a responsibility to take care of the planet. We do. I'm a Christian. I believe in good stewardship, which is different from worshiping or just doing things that could hurt people's livelihoods. For instance, I can't afford to buy an electric vehicle. And then what about the batteries? Okay, there's a little problem with those batteries when they wear out. Nobody's going to subsidize me, and I don't want to take out a car loan that's like a home loan. I don't want to do that. And nor do I want to be limited by how many miles I can drive because the car's going to need to be charged up again. Nope. Gas-powered vehicles are better. They just are. And again, I'm all for better technology, whether that's hydrogen, whether it's some other form of energy that can run an automobile cleanly and inexpensively. That's what we really should be shooting for. And look, the oil companies, as much as I like the gas-powered vehicles, oil companies want to maximize profits. So if there is something out there that could replace all of this oil and gas, I'm sure they've bought up all the patents, and they're obviously in it to make money and to kind of obfuscate what could save the economy or make the economy even better. But this notion that, hey, you need to stop eating meat or you need to stop driving a car. Look, God gave us dominion over the animals. So when I hear this stuff about, cows and just, okay, the food supply, we already don't have enough food to take care of everybody on this planet. Pretty much every day, the third world is starving or doesn't have clean water to drink. So we should kind of wouldn't it be better if Brian May was into helping, developing countries rather than just complaining about, there are so many people polluting the environment all the time. Well, pollution is different, right? So he's not complaining about pollution. He's complaining that you're using electricity or gas, right? So he's complaining there's too much, just indulgence. People are raising their standard of living, and he's basically complaining about that. And he goes on, though, to talk about how he's doing his part to fix the problem. He says, as an environmentalist activist and founder of the Save Me Foundation, the guitarist discussed the steps they take, meaning his entourage, to lessen their carbon footprint. His words. But of course, we're well aware of all that stuff, meaning what the person said here about his hypocrisy. And unlike the disgraceful Rishi Sunak, I'm not sure, is that like the mayor of London or something? Maybe he's not down with the struggle. We actually care about the environment. We actually care. I'm better than you are. So when our team are booking a private plane, we always contribute to a scheme. He actually used the word scheme. Now, as a Brit, that word, I think, has a slightly different meaning here, but still, it's an interesting word selection. We always contribute to a scheme to offset the carbon emissions. It sounds like a scheme. And overall, short of not touring at all, we apply a lot of effort these days to keep our carbon footprint as low as possible. All right. Now, again, if he were truly devoted to his religion, he wouldn't tour at all. George Carlin, I think, during one of his amazing stand-up comedy routines, said the only way you can really make these people happy is to eliminate yourself, to not exist, because that's kind of the goal. I mean, fewer people, fewer cars, fewer useless eaters, and then everything will be great. And there'll be just a few elitists around who can roam across the planet. But guess what? There won't be anyone around, to fix their sink when it breaks, or to mow their lawn, or to take care of anything that they have no idea how to take care of. So that's just a shout out to the working class, who shouldn't even have to be in this conversation about climate change. All right. People need to be able to live a prosperous, decent life. And this religion is filling a void for basically for God. All right. And because people, they make gods out of these things that have no lasting benefit. They have no eternal benefit. We're supposed to be people who are just passing through. And a lot of people don't live their life that way. A lot of people, and I'm not saying you abuse the planet. That's not what I'm saying. But prioritizing, if you believe in God, you're not going to be throwing trash all over the place. All right. And I know that's different from, say, once it gets to the point where, wow, maybe I shouldn't drive my car today. I want to save the planet. But I need to go to my job, or I need to go get groceries, which, again, some of those groceries, they're going to destroy the planet because I'm eating meat, and you can't make these people happy. So George Carlin was right. He said the only way you can truly make them happy is just to eliminate yourself. And I'm not ready to do that. And obviously, Brian May isn't that serious about his religion either, because he still flies the private plane. And he's still here. He chooses to stay alive. And so I would say, hey, Brian, I understand about blocking people. I totally get that part of your argument here. But hey, you've kind of opened yourself up to some of this criticism. And I would just take a more balanced approach to this. Certainly, we want to find ways to keep the planet ecosystem functioning the way it's supposed to function. But at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do. At some point, I think technology will catch up if the oil companies and others allow this to occur, and we can live that IGY life that Don Fagan talked about on his solo album, The Nightfly, which, again, was that real? Was that fictitious? But I always listen to those lyrics and think to myself, what a wonderful world this could be if we had the technology and we had people working together, rather than just throwing insults at each other, and rather than forming political tribes which hate each other. We could do so much better than what we're doing. We could cooperate, and we could learn to love the way Jesus loves. That's how we could fix all of these problems. But in any event, I'm getting off my soapbox now, and I'm going back to cats in space because, again, we're talking about Brian May and Queen. So here's some cats in space. Queen, ELO, and Cheap Trick. Check it out. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell and select all. Okay, you want all notifications. And YouTube memberships, Patreon as well. Patrons, you guys are the best. I have the best patrons. Some very interesting conversations over on Patreon. I can be a bit of a curmudgeon on some days when I've handled maybe 45 comments in a row or something. So just bear with me. Have patience. Pray for patience. And you'll get more of my ornery nature, because when you pray for patience, then you get more challenges to challenge and strengthen your patience. So maybe you shouldn't pray for patience. Anyway, God bless everyone. Pray for peace around the world. Pray for solutions to these problems, and pray for political leaders who are not into a show, political leaders who actually want to accomplish things, for the country and for the good of humanity. I'll be back soon, and I'll see you then.